When we come back, 7-time Olympic gold medalist Allyson Felix talks about her life-threatening experience giving birth and her push for improving Black maternal health care. Welcome back. When Allyson Felix stepped off the track at the Tokyo Games in 2021, she had just won her 11th career medal, 7 golds, eclipsing Carl Lewis to become the most decorated U.S. track and field athlete in Olympic history. But now she's making headlines for a new reason, as an advocate for Black maternal health. Black women have a maternal mortality rate about 3 times the rate for white women. For Felix, it is personal. In 2018, she developed severe preeclampsia during her pregnancy with her daughter, Cameron. And in a devastating turn this past May, Torie Bowie, the anchor of the gold medal winning relay team at the Rio Olympics, was found dead in her home after facing complications from childbirth at 8 months pregnant. That experience and her own has made Allyson Felix a powerful voice on behalf of Black moms everywhere, from the White House to the halls of Congress.
Mothers don't die from childbirth, right? Not in 2019, not professional athletes, not at one of the best hospitals in the country, and certainly not to women who have a birthing plan and a birthing suite lined up. I thought maternal health was solely about fitness, resources, and care. If that was true, then why was this happening to me?
Allyson Felix, welcome to Meet the Press.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, let's talk about your road to motherhood. At 32 weeks, you were diagnosed with preeclampsia. Your beautiful daughter, Cameron, was born 2 months early. How did that experience shape you?
I feel like it really changed me, and I think more than anything, it opened my eyes. I think I kind of had an understanding of statistics and of what maternal health was like in America, but I didn't really understand it. I remember when I was in the hospital and I had this whole birth plan. You know, I thought I was going to have a natural birth and it was going to be beautiful and all these things. And they told me I had a severe case of preeclampsia. And I didn't even quite understand what that meant or what that meant for me, for my baby, and just feeling scared. You know, I'm a professional athlete. I've taken care of my body my entire life. And so to know that things really got scary and difficult was so hard. But at the same time, it opened my eyes to the struggles of so many other women, and especially women of color.
Take me inside that moment when you were told that you had preeclampsia, because you had gone in for a routine checkup at 32 weeks. What were those emotions?
Yeah, I was expecting to go home, you know, and I was admitted. And when I was admitted, things just spiraled downhill really quickly. And so I didn't even have time quite to process everything. And it just moved so fast. And then I ended up having an emergency C-section.
What was your greatest fear?
That my daughter wouldn't make it, you know, that I don't even think, it wasn't until after, you know, I came out of that experience that I realized how scared my family was for my life. I was only thinking about my daughter and what that meant for her. But they told me later on that they were so uncertain.
When you're in the middle of this experience, as you say, you didn't have that broader sense that women of color experience complications during pregnancy at higher rates. Did you feel like your doctors, your medical community was listening to you?
I felt like I should have known that I was at risk. I felt like I should have been told the signs to look for. Instead, I wasn't. I didn't know what preeclampsia was. I didn't understand that the swelling in my feet is just not simply a sign of pregnancy, but could be preeclampsia. And so I felt like I had great medical care, but that's not always enough.
What do you wish doctors had told you?
That I, as a woman of color, that I'm already at a greater risk for these complications. What are the signs? What can I do to, you know, help this not happen? And also, you know, I should be taking my blood pressure at a certain point. So just being educated and being aware is huge.
So no doctors ever relayed that information to you, that you were at higher risk for something like preeclampsia as a woman of color?
No, I wasn't told that. The first mention I heard of preeclampsia was when I was being diagnosed with it. And so I think that's why awareness is so huge for me, and to, not only tell my story, but amplify other stories.
Did you get sick? How bad did it get?
Because I had severe features of preeclampsia, they were in constant worry of me having a stroke, of my vision being lost. And so that the only cure for preeclampsia right now is to deliver. And so that's what happened very quickly. I went from being admitted to the hospital and being told that our goal was to stay there for another 2 weeks to try to stay pregnant. And I delivered, later that night. And so it was a very quick progression. But I know that if I did not deliver, myself or my baby or both of us wouldn't have made it.
Or you've been very outspoken, because the bigger picture here is that there were 4 of you on the 2016 Olympic track and field team in Rio, and then your teammate Torie Bowie tragically died of complications due to childbirth. How is that possible in this day and age?
I mean, it's absolutely devastating that, 3 of the fittest, healthiest women in the world are facing these complications. And I think it's a stark reminder that, this condition does not discriminate. It doesn't matter if you have the best medical care. You can still suffer from it. And to me, it really hurts my heart that my friend Torie passed away, and it brought this back to the forefront. But this has been happening. This is the reality of Black women giving birth in America. And there are so many situations that are like this. And so I hate that it takes such a devastating loss, to bring it back to the forefront. But it also is just such a motivation that, we have to do better.
What was that moment like when you realized Torie had passed giving in the midst of childbirth?
It was heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking when I read that it was eclampsia. It just brought everything back to the forefront. I mean, I had been doing work in this space and so passionate about it, but when it's someone when it's a friend, someone that you have competed alongside and had all these special moments, and everyone dreams of motherhood. A lot of women do, and it breaks my heart to know that that was her experience. I think it shows how dangerous it is to give birth today in America as a Black woman. I mean, out of the 4 of the women on the team, only 3 of us are mothers, and that is astonishing, and it's just not okay. I think about the future and just keeping families together, and I just know that we have to do more.
What is your message to the medical community? What more do you want to see done?
Yeah, definitely more training, more implicit bias training. There's countless stories of women not being heard when they are in the delivery room at doctor's appointments. I don't think you should have to be prepared to advocate for yourself. I think it's intimidating for a lot of women. The doctor is the expert, and so to have to really push up against them is difficult. And so that's one thing. Policy change, of course, at that level is very important. And then just the awareness of it all as well. And I think we just have to remember these stories, these people, and not be detached from that as well.
When you look at the statistics, women of color are 3 times more likely to die in childbirth than white women. When you see those statistics, and 80% of complications are preventable, how does that make you feel?
Knowing that 80% are preventable, to me, it's infuriating. It also brings me a lot of hope. Like, there is the possibility to reverse this. Like, we can do something about this. And I think it starts with listening. It starts with hearing. And obviously, there's a lot more to that. But I am hopeful for the future.
And before we go, exciting news. We learned after our interview, Allyson Felix is pregnant and expecting her 2nd child. Cameron's baby brother is due in April. Congratulations. And you can catch the Paris Olympics next summer on NBC and streaming on Peacock.